Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Here in this video, we are going to go over all of your data that you need to know for AMC stock and for this upcoming week. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel, and let's get rocking and rolling. So as you guys know, two big events we're going to have this week. Well, one big event really is Nvidia earnings. And if Nvidia does fall, the markets are pricing in 11% up or down. If Nvidia falls 11%, your small cap stocks are going to rip higher. Now, that would likely cause a sell-off in big tech, which would also allow more money to flow into Nvidia. Really, your big tech names have been starving other areas of the markets, and yeah, that money could come rushing back in when these big tech names do sell off. And I do think Nvidia is going to fall. The question really is, by how much? Now, 11%, that's definitely a large move. Nvidia could sell off more than that or less than that. You know, the bigger the sell-off, potentially the more of a rally you could see in AMC stock. And I know some people might find that crazy, but Nvidia specifically has been sucking the life out of other areas of the markets like small and mid-cap stocks. And to see Nvidia fall would be, well, great news for AMC, let's be honest. Now, let's take a look. Let's take a look at AMC's data over here on Ortex. 12.21% short interest of free float, $149.48 million worth of short positions, days to cover 1.78, 30.57 million shares that are currently sold short, shares out on loan 32.53 million, cost to borrow 1.04%, utilization of 50.1%, and a short score of 64.05 out of 100. If you take a look at the cost to borrow fees, you're now at 8% for AMC, which is a lot higher than where you have been recently. So it looks like there was some demand to be short in AMC on Friday, which I ultimately think that is going to prove to be a bad idea. But obviously we'll have to wait and see. Nvidia is going to hold the key to that for this upcoming week. Now, option activity on Friday was also quite positive relative to what we have seen recently. You've seen 7 orders totaling $289.9 thousand with a positive order value of 54%. So a little bit better than the last week's total of 46% positive. You did have 24 orders totaling $986,000. So there is that as far as Ortex. If you take a look at sentiment for AMC is considered neutral over here on StockTwits at 52, which is, I mean, I think just fine. Sentiment yesterday was 36. That was categorized as bearish. Now, message volume tends to be lower on the weekends, but the fact that it's still decent today is good, right? One day ago, it was at 55. That was categorized as high. Right now, it's at 53. So that's categorized as normal, but I think still pretty high given it's a weekend. And the participation ratio today is definitely on the high side at 54, which that's considered normal. But for AMC, that's pretty dang good. So seeing some decent numbers over here as well. Now, the percent of stocks above their 50-day moving average on Friday did fall about 3.5% down to 55%. But overall, you're higher than where you have been more recently at about 43%. So you have seen a little bit of a broadening out of our markets. I just can't have them do that either. On Friday, you did see 24,000 calls expire in the money, 95,000 calls expire out the money, 15,000 puts expire in the money, and 40,000 puts expire out of the money. If we refresh this page for this upcoming week, you are going to start the week with about 13,000 calls currently in the money and 48,000 calls out the money, 3,500 puts in the money and 22,000 puts that are out the money. I expect a lot of this option activity from last week is going to get rolled over into this week. So I think you could see the numbers grow quite a bit as we start Monday and get into Tuesday. We could see some pretty impressive numbers here as well. That's what I'm expecting, but we'll have to wait and see. Once we get the Nvidia that reports earnings, which Nvidia will report earnings on Wednesday. That's when you will see likely more of that FOMO activity heading into AMC, because again, I think Nvidia is going to fall, and that's going to be good for AMC. That's going to be good for other small and mid cap names. Now on Monday, really no notable names. Transocean and Masonite will report earnings. Tuesday pre-market, you have Walmart, Home Depot, Medtronic, Barclays. That's pretty much it. Walmart and Home Depot, pretty important bellwethers of the consumer and the economy. So, be on the lookout for that. Tuesday after hours, Palo Alto, Solar Edge, Realty Income, Teladoc Health, Caesars, Diamondback Energy, and Toll Brothers. Wednesday, pre-market analog devices, Wix, that's pretty much it. Wednesday after hours, your big dog, Nvidia, Rivian, Etsy, Synopsys, Lucid, Sonova, Dutch Bros, APA Corporation, Marathon Oil, and Suncor Energy. And then Thursday, Moderna, Nikola, Fiverr, Wayfair, Pioneer, First Builders will report earnings Thursday pre-market. Thursday after hours, Block, Carvana, Mercado Libre, NU, Booking Holdings, Intuit, Indie, and Vail. Friday pre-market, Warner Bros. Discovery, and that is pretty much it. So Wednesday, really Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're all going to be important for their own reasons. Tuesday, more so about the consumer. Wednesday, it's all about Nvidia. Thursday, Block, Carvana, Moderna, Nikola, New, Intuit. These guys can be important for their own certain sectors. You really want to think sectors here, like Solar Edge and Sonova. Those guys can affect your energy, right? Your solar converters, solar panel names. And then Nvidia obviously will affect AI. Walmart and Home Depot can affect the broad markets, especially if Walmart, Walmart's CEO has negative things to say about the consumer. It's not going to be great for our markets. Now, based on retail sales that came out on Thursday, we did get a lower estimate for GDP as per the Atlanta Fed GDP Now tracker. They're now estimating 2.9% GDP for Q1, down from 3.4% previously. So retail sales came in at negative 0.8% on a month-over-month basis. That was a big unexpected decline. The decline was only expected as 0.1% negative. Yeah, so that was quite a big decline, and is not exactly great news for the economy. Now, if you take a look at 10-year treasury yields, 10-year treasury yields were up 4 basis points on Friday. That was also putting some pressure on stocks, so it makes sense why, the Russell was down so much. If we take a look at the 10 and the 2-year yield curve inversion, you are inverted 32 basis points, which is actually better than uninverting. Once you actually go positive here is when you tend to actually see the selling and the carnage in the market. So far, so good in relation to that. It could definitely be a whole hell of a lot worse. Now, that is pretty much it specifically for AMC. Now, I do want to take a look at the economic data coming up this week as well. Just give you a little bit of a broader overview here. So markets will be closed on Monday. Yeah, nothing's going to be really happening on Monday. You get PPI numbers out of Canada, but that's not going to even be important for our markets. Canada inflation rate will come out Tuesday in the morning. And again, that's probably not going to be super important. But that is really it. Nothing happens much on Tuesday. On Wednesday, same day as Nvidia earnings, you are going to get the FOMC minutes coming out at 2 p.m. Basically a transcript of the last meeting, why they did what they did, and a couple different things, can move the markets there, but really not expecting much. Thursday, you are going to get Chicago Fed National Activity Index, initial jobless claims, S&P Global Composite PMI for February, S&P Global Manufacturing PMI for February, and S&P Global Services PMI for February as well. Existing home sales come out at 10 o'clock in the morning. Fed Jefferson speaks at 10 o'clock in the morning. Some oil data, and then Fed Harker at 3:15 p.m., Fed Cook at 5 p.m., and Fed Kashkari at 5 p.m. And then at 7:30 p.m., Fed Waller will be speaking. And then Friday, There's really not much of anything on Friday as well. So not really anything as far as economic data for this upcoming week. The next big data report is going to be PCE, in which I believe that will come out not this week, but the week after that. That's really what the Fed pays attention to. So you get Nvidia earnings next week. The week after that, I believe you get PCE. And yeah, that could be the main driving factor of our markets over really the next, 2 weeks or so. Nvidia and PCE, that's really all you need to make a very excited bullish market, or potentially a market that's not so happy. We've seen PPI come in hotter than expected. We've seen CPI come in hotter than expected. So odds are pretty good that we'll also see PCE coming in hotter than expected. And if PCE comes in hotter than expected, it's really going to push back on when the Fed is able to start lowering rates. Now, I believe, if you guys seen the last video, I believe AMC stock can go absolutely buck wild once you do get Nvidia earnings out the way. Nvidia is pricing at 11% plus or minus. That means up or down. 11% is the largest pricing in you have seen for Nvidia in 3 years. So, if you move 11%, that's going to be about a $200 billion market cap move in either direction. And if it's a downwards direction, which I believe it almost has to be right now, because market makers, they need to unwind a lot of their gamma, a lot of their long positions, because, the sheer amount of options you have seen have pushed Nvidia higher. They have to unwind that, If they're not able to unwind that, that is a big problem for market makers. That's not exactly a situation they want to be in. So, yeah, there is that. And I do think, this could be huge for AMC. I really don't want to understate that. And hopefully I'm not, because, if you get Nvidia actually falling like 10%, oh my gosh, I expect AMC could do huge things. Now, AMC still has their own earnings. Adam Aron's been teasing towards, a good earnings, something important to say on the earnings call. So we'll have to see. And that could be, maybe Nvidia is like a huge catalyst, and then AMC earnings are another huge catalyst. So maybe I'm being too optimistic. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.